Alright guys, it's time to learn about absolute values because you're going to be using them a lot in computer programming, and the reason for that is because they are awesome whenever you're doing stuff like calculating dates or maybe the weight of something or the distance, because you're going to allow the user to enter two values, such as maybe they're calculating their age. Well, what if they put the year that they were born first, like 1986, and they try to subtract the current year from it, like 2014? Well, if they did that, then it's going to give you a negative number because you're subtracting a bigger number from a smaller one. And of course, their age wouldn't be negative 28, so you need to convert that to a positive number so your program doesn't crash. So again, it's good for distances and weights and ages. So I'll show you guys how to build a simple program like that right now. So we'll go ahead and put int year 1 and int year 2, which is pretty much going to be the 2 years that they enter to calculate the age of something, and we'll store the final age right there. Now for printf, let's just go ahead and give them a nice little prompt on the screen. Be like, enter a year. No, enter a tier. You have to be crying to use this program. Alright, enter a year, new line, and we'll just scan F. And for this, of course, we're scanning %d since we love working with integers, and ampersand year. Ampersand tier, year 1. Alright, so now whatever value they entered, hopefully it was an integer, we store it in year 1. Of course, we need to do this again. Enter another year and store that in year 2. So now we got two numbers, integers. So the first thing we need to do is make an equation to calculate the age. So age equals year 1 minus year 2. Now this actually doesn't matter since we're going to be using absolute value. You can put year 2 minus 2 1, it won't make a difference. Cool little thing about this. So what I want to do after this is actually print out the value that we came up with first. The value, or the original value, that we calculated without using absolute value. So print out %d, new line, and age. Now after this, what we're going to do is we're going to figure that this number that we came up with can either be the correct one if they entered one of the numbers first, or the wrong one. It can be negative if they enter the smaller number first. So no matter what, we want to go ahead and calculate the absolute value using the function abs. So whenever we pass age into here, if it's a negative number, is going to convert it into the positive number. If it's positive, it's just going to leave it the same. So now when you print that bad boy out again, check it out. Enter year 1986, enter another year 2014. Okay, so this one, it tried to subtract 2014 from 1986 and it got negative 28. Well, you don't want to put that in your program or else it's going to crash everything later on. So the absolute value converts that to 28, and of course, if they entered it correctly, which is 2014, 1986, it calculates 28 and leaves it at 28. So again, whenever you're developing software, you always want to assume that the user is going to F something up, and you want to make your program as user-proof as possible. So using absolute value is a great way to do that. Sometimes it's necessary whenever you're using distances. Like if I was to put two distances in there, then either way would be the correct way for the user, so you'd still need to use absolute value. Same thing with weights, and so on and so forth. So for now, that's probably good for this tutorial. Thank you guys for watching. Actually, might as well show you guys some other small ones real quick, and let's see what I can do. Go ahead and do this. So we'll just use one print statement and we'll print out a couple floats, and I don't need to make a whole tutorial for these. The first one is this function, pow. Now what this means is whenever you run this, you have to punch your computer as hard as you can until your fist goes pow. I'm just kidding. Actually, it stands for power, and you need to enter two values for this. The first one is the base, and the second one is the exponent. What this is pretty much saying is I want to see 5 to the third power. So if you guys don't know what this is, it should be 125. So pretty much 5 times 5 is 25 times 5 is 125. So that's what that does. Again, I don't need a whole tutorial explaining that. And the only other one I wanted to mention real quick is SQRT. This stands for squirt, and you have to squirt water on your computer. Just kidding again. So this actually stands for square root, and whatever number you pass in, like 164, it prints the square root of that number. So before I run this, can you guess what it is? Square root of 164. Probably, I don't know, 12.6 something? 12.8. I was close. But basically, the square root of 164 is 12.8. Maybe you guys guess closer than me. So those are a few math functions. Again, out of all of those, you're probably going to be using absolute value the most, but now you have the power function and the square root on hand. So, well, for now, thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you later.